3 seconds before I broke those boards, I made a discovery that changed everything, a truth I have kept to myself until now. Many of you have seen my demonstration where I say, boards don't hit back. It has been written about in newspapers, discussed by students, analyzed by martial artists. But what no one knows is that I was holding something back, something crucial. In those 3 seconds, I saw something that completely transformed my understanding of power, not just in martial arts, but power itself. The kind of power that turns fear into an unstoppable force. The kind of power that most people are only using a fraction of. I have never shared this before, not in my teachings at the Kwun, not in interviews, not even with my closest students. But today, I will reveal exactly what happened in those 3 seconds and why it holds the key to unlocking abilities you never knew you had. What I'm about to share is not just another technique or philosophy, it is the hidden truth that took me from a skinny kid in Hong Kong to becoming who I am. And in these moments together, I will show you why this one insight changes everything. Let me take you back to Hong Kong, 1958. I was young, full of pride, certain that my Wing Chun training had made me invincible. The streets of Kowloon had taught me to be fierce, and my reputation was growing. Then came the fight that changed everything. His name isn't important, what matters is what he taught me, though he never knew it. The fight lasted 3 minutes, and I had never tasted defeat like that before. The techniques I had practiced thousands of times seemed to vanish in the face of real fear. My arms felt heavy, my breathing was restricted, my mind clouded. That night, nursing my bruised body and even more bruised ego, I caught my reflection in a cracked mirror in my small room. The fracture split my face in two, and in that moment, I understood something profound about fear. Fear is not your enemy. Fear is like that broken mirror, it does not show your opponent, but yourself. In that fractured reflection, I saw both my weaknesses and my potential. The things that make us afraid are often the very things that point us toward growth. I spent weeks after that defeat in deep contemplation. Each morning, I stood before my mirror not to practice techniques, but to face myself. And with each passing day, I began to understand. Fear is nothing but untransformed power. Think of water. When you are drowning, water is your enemy. It surrounds you, crushes you, fills your lungs. But if you learn to swim, that same water supports you, moves with you, becomes one with you. Fear is exactly the same. This was my first glimpse into what would later become my water principle. Fear, like water, can either drown you or become your strength. The difference lies not in the fear itself, but in how you relate to it. That defeat in Hong Kong was not just a loss. It was the crack in my foundation that allowed a new truth to emerge. Every time I felt fear after that day, I remembered the broken mirror. Instead of fighting against fear, I learned to look deeply into it, to understand its message. But understanding fear was only the beginning. What I discovered next would transform not just how I fought, but how I approached every aspect of my training. It became the hidden principle behind all my methods. After that revelation in Hong Kong, I began questioning everything I'd been taught, the traditional methods, the countless forms, the rigid patterns. They were like chains, binding us to someone else's truth. That night, I wrote in my journal, "In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity." One evening, after hours of training, I sat by the harbor watching the boats. The water moved endlessly, adapting to every obstacle, filling every space. I wrote, "The perfect way to move is to move as water moves." But here is where most practitioners fail to understand. They think this philosophy is only about physical movement. It is not. As you listen to my words now, become aware of the tension in your own body. Feel it, the tightness in your shoulders, the strain in your jaw, the rigidity in your thoughts. This tension is the accumulation of every form, every pattern, every rule you've been taught. The traditional ways tell you to hold on to this tension, to maintain rigid control. But I discovered something different. I remember the exact moment this truth revealed itself. I was training with my wooden dummy, performing the same movements I had done thousands of times before. But this time, something was different. Instead of forcing my movements to conform to the technique, I let the technique conform to me. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless like water. When you pour water into a cup, it becomes the cup. Put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend. This is not just a poetic expression, it is a fundamental truth about human potential. Classical traditions teach you to mold yourself into a fixed position, a predetermined pattern. But water never tries to hold a shape. It simply fills whatever space it encounters. Right now, as you hear these words, try something. Let go of your preconceptions about what movement should be. Feel how your body naturally wants to move. This is not about technique. It is about rediscovering what your body knew before it was taught to be rigid. I documented this discovery in my training notes. True mastery comes not from perfecting the old, but from constantly discovering the new. Every movement should be a discovery. Every moment fresh and untainted by the patterns of yesterday. Now, let us return to those 3 seconds before the boards broke. Now, you understand what really happened in that moment of perfect stillness before the strike. Like the bamboo, I was completely relaxed, yet utterly ready. Like water, I had no fixed form, yet contained all potential forms. And like that broken mirror in Hong Kong, I was not facing the boards, I was facing myself. When I said, "Boards don't hit back," I wasn't merely stating a fact about wooden boards. I was expressing something far deeper about the nature of true combat and the essence of real power. The boards were never the opponent. They were merely a mirror reflecting our own limitations, fears, and rigid patterns of thinking. When you understand this, you realize that every obstacle you face, whether in combat or in life, is not external at all. In those 3 seconds, I wasn't gathering tension or summoning force. I was letting go of everything that stood between my intention and its perfect expression. This is the ultimate truth I have been leading you toward. The real breakthrough in my training did not come from learning new techniques. It came from unlearning the very concept of technique itself. From discovering that true power isn't about conquering others. It's about conquering the only opponent that matters. Yourself. The tension that binds you, the fears that restrict you, the patterns that limit you, these are your real opponents. And like water, once you learn to flow past these self-imposed barriers, you become truly unstoppable. Remember this. In that moment before action, be like water, able to flow and to strike. Be like bamboo, yielding yet unbreakable. Be like the mirror showing you your truest self. This is my gift to you, not just a method of training, but a way of being.